Hi everyone. So another video. This one is one of my favorite teas. Actually, is what we're going to feature this time. It's again from Pete's, and this is Earl Grey with Bergamot. And what's really good about that is this tea is made with a very special. It's a black tea, of course. It's a Earl Grey, which is kind of it's a type of a black tea, but it's got in it something called bergamot oil, which is a citrusy, sweet kind of a fruity taste, which comes from what's known as bergamia, and they infuse the tea with this oil, and it's just this really fruity. I don't know. I get kind of a little sense of orange with it, but I always get also a little sense of raspberry with it too, which I think is really cool. So anyway, this is. Let me pull my chair out here as we wait for the water to boil. This is an interesting tea in that it's got quite a little bit of history with it. Earl Grey has been around, very popular in England for literally for centuries, but they've been adding these type of things to it in England, throughout Europe actually, especially in places like France and Belgium and Austria, where they would add, sometimes you'd add lemon, which is also really good, but they would add other types of flavors to it. It was kind of the original flavored teas that came out back in the old days. And it was kind of reserved for the aristocracy, to tell you the truth. There were nobles who refused to allow the people living on their land to drink this kind of tea, or to have this kind of a luxury, I guess. It was reserved only for the nobles. And with it, of course, I've got some Biscotti and couple of little sesame cakes there. Just little stuff that really goes well with a taste like this. This time I have Veranda magazine, which is one of my favorites just because it's just full of stuff that I'll probably never be able to afford. For example, a Breguet watch. But this magazine has got some really nice design details in it. Things that, I don't know, I think you can look in here and see what you want, and then probably go to a cheaper store and buy it for a whole lot less. And then in fact, that's what I do. Let me stand up so I'm missing some of the reflection here. It's an interesting magazine, really, because it's one of the last ones that are really thick, a really large, full, glossy magazine. And for some reason, it comes to me for free. I never did order this. It just comes to my house. So I look through it and dream about stuff I'm going to have in some great big palace. Look at this kitchen. Can you see this kitchen? This is the kitchen. When I grow up, I want this kind of a kitchen in my house. So, anyway, yeah, this is I look through here and I find stuff that I'll never be able to afford. What the heck? An ad for eBay. But it's a lot of fun looking in these things. I totally do not get bored with this at all. So anyway, it sounds like my water is just about done here, so I'll be back in a second. So with this tea, I gotta leave my magazine for a second here. With this tea, it's so aromatic. Even from this, standing up here, it just smells just wonderful. This is what it looks like. It's maybe a bit much. Maybe about like that. That's about all it takes. Like right there. That's about all it takes right there. Let me get my little padded hand mitt here because last time I about burned my skin off my hand. Right away, the smell of this is just unbelievable. I mean, you get this citrus, and you get this, it's not grassy as much as it is almost kind of a wheat kind of a aroma. And of course, this gorgeous, rich black tea. Earl Grey is a black tea, even though it's called Earl Grey. I think it was actually named after a person, which would make sense since that's what it's called. But Earl Grey is, like I said, it's a classic tea. It's a very, very nice, palatable tea. And it's one of those teas that you could take, really. I have taken it with lemon, without the bergamot, just the Earl Grey itself. I've taken it with lemon. And I've also taken it with milk. I mean, either way. Because of what I've got going on here, it's not as strong as if I would put it in a smaller cup. I've actually found out that this cup is 22 ounces. But you don't need very much, especially with this tea. You don't need very much. You see, it's already, the color is there. If this were in a white mug, which I'm going to do the next one in kind of a white mug, because you're going to find out kind of some interesting things about it. Or, yeah, it'll be in a white face kind of a mug, because you'll learn some good stuff about the next tea. But sitting in this red mug, you probably can't tell, but this is a really nice, rich amber color. And it's just a marvelous tea. The smell is just kind of, the aroma, the scent is what I should say. It's just kind of overwhelming me here. It's just really nice. And again, this is called Earl Grey with bergamot. And it says, traditional Earl Grey lively black tea flavored with bergamot oil. And I really do suggest that you try this, because it is an amazing tea. It's a really amazing tea. And it is, right now, it is my current favorite. I've got some jasmine teas that I think I really love a lot, and some other types of teas that I think you'll enjoy. Let me let that cool for a little while. Let's go back to the magazine. I think one of the things in life that is really good is the ability to sit down and just enjoy, for a few minutes. Because I have a really hectic work schedule, and wow, look at this bed. Holy crap, look at this bed. That is a room I could die in right there. I bet this costs about $50,000. Or maybe not, but oh my gosh. I bet the entire room does. Anyway, so yeah, it's really nice to be able to sit down and just relax, and especially after the kind of schedule that I have, the work that I do, it's really nice to sit down and just kind of enjoy things, relax, enjoy some tea, just for the sake of being able to enjoy the tea. Believe it or not, that's a commercial for flooring. It's an ad for flooring. Don't really have good angles on things today. Sorry about that. The little glares. A billiard company. Finest collection of antique, custom, and contemporary pool tables in the world. Blacked Billiards in New York City, right on Broadway. Well, I guess that's not much of a surprise. Yeah, so there's some good stuff in here. There's some really good stuff in this magazine, which translates to there's some really expensive stuff in this magazine. magazine itself, trying to see that. I'm trying to see what there's no price on this thing. Oh my gosh, this must be very expensive because there's no price written on it. I actually have a chair like this in storage. Of course, it's not Elijah Slocum handmade furniture, but it's hard to believe some people live in just this way. I mean, look at this. It's just very hard to believe. But there are people who, for them, this is kind of the low end of things. Another fabulous kitchen. See, that's why I like these magazines, because I can just dream all day long. I think I'm going to do some videos of just page turning, page flipping without talking. I've noticed that people do seem to like those on YouTube, on the internet. These are the kind of the more pure ASMR videos. So anyway, time to sit down and enjoy my tea. Today is Monday, and it's just a kind of an ugly day. It's going to rain pretty soon, I think, but it's needed because here in California we are in the midst of the worst drought in 100 years. We have cattle who are starving to death. We have ranchers who are selling off their milk cattle for meat because they can't afford to give them to truck in water. And since there's no green grass for them to eat, they have to buy hay, which I think that also probably is hard for the farmers, so, for the ranchers. So, really nice oriental box, a series of oriental boxes there. I don't know what I would ever do with those, but that's really nice looking. So, you have a nice day.